Hello, we're back in Studio A, which is my office bedroom, uh, for another riveting edition of Knowing Nothing But Christ and Him Crucified. I'm Pastor Tony Phelps, and I serve Christ Our Hope Presbyterian Church in South County, Rhode Island. I just wanted to share some brief thoughts about all the hullabaloo about UFOs, now called UAPs, unexplained anomalous phenomenon. So it can cover things in the sky, things in the sea, whatever. All very interesting. And of course, Steven Spielberg's movie coming out, Disclosure Day. And this, I just want to reflect on one aspect of the UFO phenomenon, one attraction of it, I think, for a lot of people. And it's from the angle of those who have claimed to have had encounters with non-human intelligences, to have been engaged with them in some way, either through abduction or through other encounters. But what's very interesting, I find, is in those accounts that are reported, these creatures, whatever they are, have some information to give. And many times, the individuals who are having the encounter are told that they're very special and that they're receiving this special message. And what's amazing, or not surprising, I suppose, is that very often this message is directly anti-Christian. Like, hey, who knew E.T. is an evangelical theologian? That's what E.T. stands for. No, an anti-evangelical theologian, actually, who wants to say that Jesus Christ is not the Son of God. He is either an alien or we enlightened him. He's just one among many teachers, and the motif just happens to be Gnostic, New Agey. Shocker, right? But there is a Bible passage that pertains at least to this particular slice of the UAP phenomenon, UFO narrative, and that particular slice is Galatians 1. What did Paul say? If anyone preaches to you another gospel other than that which was preached to you, let him be anathema. In other words, there is a worldview being communicated, not only in the alien abduction experiences that people report, and I'm not doubting they've had some kind of an experience necessarily, but you'll notice in the disclosure discussions, if you watch any of those commentaries or testimonies being given, or even what Steven Spielberg said in the run-up to Disclosure Day's release, is that this will impact organized religion. This will shift people's worldviews, their understanding of the world in which they live. This will be very traumatic for people. So there's this interesting spiritual component to whatever this is. Fact is that the devil appears as an angel of light, and perhaps these abduction encounter stories, some of them are perhaps darkly spiritual. Many times people who have them have been involved in kind of New Age thinking and maybe experimentation. They report that. It's interesting also that near-death experiences often have this encounter with maybe with a Jesus figure or an angelic figure, and sometimes the same content is given about religion. Look, you don't know that you're God's. That's the problem. And you're being enlightened so that you can bring this message to the world. So there's a deceptive spiritual element at work in some of these UFO adjacent experiences or UAP encounters and things like that. So I think it's a caution for us as God's people to be discerning. I'm not, I want to not, I don't claim to be an expert on the topic, but holding fast to the gospel and hearing a message coming from some quarters of those who are involved in disclosure or having had encounters, there's definitely a message that is another gospel, that is not another. So just a caution. I think we need to acknowledge the issue is far bigger than that part of it in terms of, okay, there's physical phenomenon. How do we understand that? How do we engage that? As my friend R. Scott Clark recently commented, he said, remember, it's unidentified. That's the first word, whether it's UFO or UAP. We still don't know exactly. But there is a spiritual component, and Satan is clever, and he'll use whatever means necessary to distract people from Christ. And as an interesting side note, one person who is involved in interviewing many people who claim to have had these spiritual experiences, there's a segment of them that did not want these experiences. These were very terrifying experiences, and they didn't want them to continue. And among them, some of them called on the name of Christ, allegedly, and the experiences ended. There was one particular UFO researcher who reported that and claims that is something that's happened quite often for whatever reason, people who were Christians maybe or had a Christian background or something, but invoking the name of Christ ended these alien encounters. So I found that very interesting. So things just to be careful from a pastoral perspective. Be careful with this stuff. Satan, again, he could be using liars who are lying about their experiences, or he could be causing some of these experiences. There could be lying signs and wonders. There could be signs in the stars, as Jesus said. So there are all kinds of things that Satan would use to distract us from the gospel. I'm not a heavy conspiracy theorist, but I am aware that there is a spiritual realm and that Satan is a deceiver. So exercise caution, dear Christian. Hold fast to Christ. And don't give ear to another gospel, which is not another, whether it's preached by an alleged apostle, an angel, an alien, or non-human intelligence. It's Satan. Satan, maybe. So, anyway, just a few random thoughts. Thanks.